Some stories hide in forgotten books. Others are buried beneath concrete and silence. But the one you're about to hear was erased. Not by time, but by intent. A town wiped from maps, its name deleted from records. Its people remembered only by the missing. This isn't a ghost story, it's a pattern, repeating every 9 years with terrifying precision. A ritual disguised as coincidence, a presence disguised as prosperity. And I have the journals, the footage, the evidence they tried to bury. So lock your door, put out the lights, and listen closely before the fold turns its gaze to you. The town that disappeared. 3 months ago, a package arrived at my mailbox. No return address, no name. Inside was a leather-bound journal, pages yellowed, spine worn. A single note attached. If you read this, remember April 21st. Tell no one. The journal belonged to Erwin Mahler, a high school geography teacher from a town I'd never heard of. Lundvale, Michigan. A town that officially doesn't exist. No Google results, no postal records, no mention in modern maps. But I found it referenced in scattered 1950s and 60s newspapers. Mentions of unusual prosperity and mysterious disappearances. And then silence after 1972. It was as if someone pulled a curtain. Erwin's journal told me why. A town too lucky. Lundvale, according to Erwin, was a dream. Rich soil, healthy livestock, no major illness in over 3 decades, not a single suicide, homicide, or recorded violent crime between 1939 and 1971. But every 9 years, on April 21st, someone vanished. Quietly, cleanly, no bodies, no police reports filed. Just a blank space in the local paper. A polite obituary that said too little. Erwin began noticing the pattern when he compared old class photos and saw students gone without a trace. People the town just forgot. But the prosperity never wavered. And it came at a cost. The fold. Erwin's journal mentions the fold. Not a group, not a place, but a thing. It isn't something you find. It finds you. It lives in stillness, in places too quiet for comfort. It doesn't kill. It absorbs. You are folded out of this world like a page in a book no longer meant to be read. He believed the fold was connected to an old Wyden family barn, abandoned since the 30s. No one would speak of it, but it was never torn down. It just stood, warped, leaning on the edge of town like a sentinel. Erwin saw strange gatherings there in April 1971. People in ash-colored robes, standing silently facing a wall. He saw a boy go in. He never came out. Return to Lundvale. Erwin vanished in 1972. His final entry mentioned April 21st, the Wyden barn, and a decision. Tomorrow night I will see it with my own eyes, and I may not return. That was the last page. I couldn't let it go. So I searched for Lundvale. Not on modern maps, it was erased, but I traced it through railway lines, old gas station logs, and an abandoned highway spur now listed as closed for maintenance since 1973. I found it, or what was left of it. The town was there, overgrown, choked by vines and branches, but standing, houses with peeling paint, a crumbling post office, a rusting swing set that creaked in windless air, and silence. The journal continues. Inside what remained of the town hall, I found more journals. Not Erwin's, others, names I didn't recognize, but they all referenced the same thing. The 9-year offering, and always, the fold. Some entries were precise. 1936, Eleanor R. disappeared, prosperity restored. 1945, Alfred King seen near the Wyden barn before vanishing, no search party organized. Every disappearance was April 21st, every 9 years. No deviation, no delay. I stayed in Lundvale that night. At 2:13 a.m. I saw a light inside the Wyden barn, the man with no eyes. I approached through overgrowth. The barn was sagging but intact, Its interior was wrong. Shadows didn't align with the moonlight. Corners felt closer than they looked. Then I saw him. A tall figure standing perfectly still, back turned. He wore a suit decades out of style, gray and spotless. His arms hung unnaturally long. He turned, his face was smooth, no eyes, no nose, just skin stretched tight across bone, but I felt him see me. Then he smiled, not with lips, with the space where his eyes should be. "You don't belong here yet," he whispered. I ran. The folded ones. Back in my hotel, shaking, I opened a hidden flap in Irwin's journal, a folded note. "If you see him, leave. If you stay, record everything. But know this, the fold is not a creature. It is an inheritance. And Lunvale is only one place it is touched." I checked historical land records. Other towns erased just like Lunvale had the same patterns. Green Hollow, Kentucky, vanished in 1963. Silverheart, Montana, flooded 1981. Port Moonrise, Maine, absorbed into federal land 1990. All had offers every 9 years. All were too lucky for too long. A second journal. Before leaving Lunvale, I returned to the schoolhouse. In the back of a storage closet beneath rotted textbooks and mouse droppings, I found a second leather-bound book. It was newer, clean. The first page read, "Property of Nora Mahler, daughter of Irwin Mahler." Irwin had a daughter. No mention of her in the first journal. This one was different. Her writing was frantic, pages creased with pressure. She had returned to Lunvale in 1981, alone. The fold didn't stop after 1972. They just closed the town to outsiders, but I can still hear the whisper on the anniversary. And sometimes I see my father, still 42, still in the same tweed jacket, standing in the barn, not aging, not waving, watching. Nora was convinced Irwin wasn't dead. He was folded. Patterns across time. I compiled every name, every 9-year date, every town. And a pattern emerged, not random disappearances, a map, a circle. 7 towns, all now erased, formed a near-perfect heptagon on the map. Lunvale was at the center, a convergence. That word again, same as in Nora's entries. "The fold needs symmetry," she wrote. "It doesn't just take, it measures, it counts, it repeats." And the next count was April 21st this year. They're still watching. In the days that followed, I noticed a white van parked across from my apartment. Different plates. Same van. 3 nights in a row. Once at 3 a.m. I heard something shift in the hallway. A shadow moved beneath the crack of my door, but no knock, no voice. Just pressure. As if something had leaned against the door from the other side. Listening. I left the next day. I drove 700 miles, stayed off main roads and used cash only. Still at rest stops I feel it. A chill when I pass mirrors. The sense I've been rerouted. The ritual. I made one last choice. To return. April 20th, one day before the anniversary. I hiked back into Lunvale carrying a satellite uplink, a thermal camera, and Nora's journal. That night I set camp across from the Whedon barn. At 2:08 a.m. the barn lit up, but it wasn't fire. It was impossible light, like moonlight and static merged into something that shouldn't reflect. 12 figures emerged, robes, hoods, faces hidden. They formed a circle around the barn, and then a 13th figure was brought forward. A young man, barefoot, limpio, like sleepwalking. They chanted, low and rhythmic. Words I didn't recognize. The barn shimmered. Shadows inside stretched and pulled outward. The boy stepped forward. He didn't scream. He simply faded. The fold breaks. I ran toward the barn. I don't know why. Maybe instinct, maybe madness. The moment I crossed the edge of the field, all 12 figures turned as one. I raised the camera. The leader, taller than the rest, stepped forward and removed their hood. It was Nora Mahler. Her eyes were glowing silver. "It's not a curse," she said calmly. It's preservation, she pointed at me. One more, and we balance again. The fold opened behind her, a vortex of space and time, colors that bled and bent. I had one chance. I threw the thermal camera into the fold. It pulsed, screamed, and collapsed. Aftermath. I awoke just before dawn outside the barn. Alone, no robes, no people, no Nora. The barn was gone, not destroyed, absent, like a page ripped from the landscape. I made it back, uploaded the footage. Most of it is corrupted. Fragments remain, sound distortion, warped shadows, a flash of Nora's face. But it's enough. And the date? April 21st. If you're hearing this, I've moved again. New name, no fixed address, but they'll find me. I know they will. I've disrupted the cycle, delayed the fold, maybe even weakened it. But it always finds a new page, so check your town's records. Look at your mayoral lineage, your unexplained disappearances. Does anyone remember what happened to the town next door? And when April 21st comes again, count the shadows in the street. If there are more than there should be, don't look back. This is the Ghastly Journal. Sleep well if you can. The places that shouldn't exist. It's been 61 days since I fled from Lunvale, since I saw that thing in the fold writhing in impossible shapes, scraping against the edges of our reality. I thought I escaped. I thought I won. But victory isn't silence, it's knowing why the silence exists. Because the fold doesn't vanish, it waits. The camera I escaped with, corrupted. The audio, glitched. The footage, distorted, warped, as if reality itself refused to be recorded. One file survived. Just one. A still frame. It's me running. In the background, a shape, tall and thin, stretching from the trees like a shadow that forgot how to bend. And in the corner of the image, eyes. Gray. Familiar. Watching. I started having dreams 2 weeks ago, not nightmares. Memories of things that didn't happen, or shouldn't have. A town with no street names. A school without windows. Children reciting numbers in a language I've never heard but somehow understand. A woman in gray with no mouth mouthing words through me in the mirror. When I wake up, my fingernails are filled with dirt, as if I've been digging. I moved across the country, changed phones, changed names. Still, the dreams follow, and sometimes, so do the people. The fold moves. One morning, I took a photo of a street in Minneapolis. When I checked the image, there was a building that wasn't there in real life. Old bricks, slanted roof, a black door. I went back. Nothing. Just an empty sidewalk. But when I showed the photo to a stranger, he went pale. I've seen that place, he whispered. In Riverford in 1987, they said it burned down. Riverford, a town erased by industrial zoning, same pattern, same date, April 21st, it's spreading. The fold didn't die in Lunvale, it migrated. And it's learning. The Whisper Protocol. I've been collecting evidence of what little remains. Old phone books. Scraps of obituary listings that disappear from online archives overnight. GPS anomalies, distorted satellite images. There are towns that last exactly 63 years before vanishing from every system. No social security, no tax records, just gaps. Not destroyed, not abandoned, absorbed. And every one of them had a center, a barn, a dry well, a ruined chapel, a house that no one ever remembered being built. And always a disappearance every 9 years, or 6, or 3. The interval shortens. Time is no longer on our side. If you still think it's over. This journal you're listening to, I've copied it 5 times. I've mailed it to places I'll never go. Encrypted it onto USBs and slipped them into motel Bibles. You're hearing one version. If you're lucky, it's not the last. Because the fold doesn't need you to believe, it only needs you to look, to notice the town that's a little too quiet. The neighbor whose name you always forget. The diner that's always open even when it's closed. The old man with no reflection in the glass. The mayor who's been mayor since your grandfather was a child. If you notice these things, you're already watching. And once it sees you, you don't leave the page. So take this story, spread it, mistranslate it, tell it wrong, tell it loud, corrupt the pattern, break the symmetry, keep the fold unstable. And when April 21st comes again, stay out of the stillness. Because stillness isn't peace, it's the breath a world takes on before it swallows. This is the end.